The cage in the wasteland. The wind howled across the dead land. Dust blew over broken machines and burned out ships. Nothing moved, and nothing lived, except one man walking slowly through the ruins. His name was Marcus, a human scavenger. He searched forgotten battlefields for scrap metal, tech parts, or anything that could be sold for food. He was used to silence. He liked it. Silence meant no danger. But today, something was different. As he moved through a collapsed alien warbase, he heard something strange. It wasn't the wind, it was softer. It sounded like crying. Marcus stopped. He pulled his gun and listened. Yes. It was crying, weak, faint, like someone had no voice left. He followed the sound through twisted steel and burned walls. The crying got louder as he moved deeper into the shadows. Then he saw it. A cage. It was made of alien metal, black and smooth, glowing faintly with strange red lights. Inside the cage, curled up on the floor, was a girl. She wasn't human. Her skin was light blue, and her long hair looked like silver silk, but dirty and tangled. She was thin, too thin. Her ribs showed through her skin. Her legs were bruised, and her arms were wrapped around her knees. She wore no clothes, only a metal collar around her neck and glowing cuffs on her ankles. Marcus stepped closer. The cage scanned him but didn't react. He whispered, "Hey, can you hear me?" The girl flinched. She looked up at him and her eyes were full of tears, glowing violet eyes wide with fear. "Please," she whispered. "Don't take me back." Marcus knelt slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you. I don't even know who you are," she shook her head. "They'll come. They always come back." "Who?" he asked. She didn't answer. She just looked away like she was waiting to be beaten or worse. Marcus checked the cage door. No lock, just a scanner. He pulled out his hacking tool, a small box with wires and a screen. He had used it to open old storage crates, but never something like this. The tool beeped. The lights turned green. The door slid open. The girl didn't move. Marcus took off his coat and stepped inside the cage. He carefully wrapped it around her. She flinched again, but she didn't push him away. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm getting you out of here," she whispered. "You don't understand. If I leave, the collar will burn me." Marcus looked at the collar. Strange symbols glowed faintly. Alien tech, maybe even a tracker, maybe worse. "I'll find a way to remove it," he said. "But first, we need to get you somewhere safe." The girl didn't respond, so he gently lifted her into his arms. She was light, too light, like someone who hadn't eaten in days. Her body shook as he carried her out of the cage. Outside, the wind hit them hard, but Marcus held her close. She pressed her face into his chest like a scared child. He returned to his camp, a small shelter made of scavenged parts and hidden under rocks. It wasn't much, but it was safe for now. He laid her down and gave her water. She sipped it slowly, like she was afraid it wasn't real. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Ravaya." "That's a beautiful name," Marcus said. She looked away. He gave her some old food, dry but still good. She ate it without speaking. That night she didn't sleep. Marcus kept watch by the fire. He stared at her collar, still glowing. Something about it made him nervous. It didn't just look like a tracker. It looked like something more, something important. And then he noticed something else. A small mark just below the collar. A burned-in symbol. It looked human. His eyes narrowed. Why would a slave girl from an alien world have a human war mark? Something was wrong, something big. But for now, all he knew was this. She had nothing, no clothes, no home, no hope, just her tears. And for some reason, the universe had chosen him to find her. The girl who feared freedom, Ravaya, sat near the fire, wrapped in Marcus's coat. Her eyes didn't blink. She stared into the flames like they held memories she couldn't forget. The fire crackled softly, but she didn't move, not even to warm her hands. Marcus watched from a short distance, pretending to check his gear. But really, he was watching her. She looked like a ghost. Too quiet, too still, like someone whose soul had been taken long ago. He walked over and placed a small piece of bread near her. "You should eat something," he said gently. She didn't. Look at him. "Why didn't you leave me in the cage?" Marcus sat down across from her. "Because no one should be left like that." She shook her head. "But I was already broken." He frowned. "You're not broken. You're alive. That matters." She looked up now, her eyes hollow. "No. Alive is worse. At least if I died in that cage, it would have ended." Marcus felt a chill, not from the wind, but from her voice. It wasn't sad. It was empty. "You're free now," he said. "You don't have to be afraid anymore." Her hands tightened around the coat. "You don't understand. I'm more afraid now than I was in the cage." Marcus blinked. "Why?" She opened the coat a little and pointed to the collar on her neck. "This isn't just metal. It's a sensor. It can feel my fear. And the more afraid I am, the more it hurts me." Marcus leaned forward. "It hurts you?" She nodded slowly. "If I run, it shocks me. If I scream, it burns. If I cry too loud, it tightens." He stared at the collar in horror. "That's torture." "No," she whispered. "That's control." She pulled the coat tighter. "You say I'm free, but as long as this thing is on me, I'll never be free." Marcus was silent, then he said, "I'll find a way to remove it." "You can't," she said quickly. "Only the one who owns me has the code. If you try without it, it explodes." Marcus looked at her, stunned. "They put a bomb around your neck?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. He stood up and started pacing. Who would do that? What kind of monster puts something like that on someone so young? Ravaya looked down. "They don't see me as a person. Just a failed project. A warning to others." Marcus stopped. "A project?" She froze, then said nothing. He didn't push. Not yet. Instead, he sat back, down. "I've seen many things in this galaxy. War, death, slavery. But I've never seen someone like you." She looked at him, confused. "Like me?" "You were left to die," he said. "But you didn't. You're still here, still breathing. That takes strength." "No," she whispered. "That takes luck." He smiled. "Maybe, but surviving is the first step." They sat in silence again, then she asked, "Why did you help me? You don't even know me." Marcus thought for a moment. "I guess because I saw someone who needed help, and I knew if I walked away, I'd never forgive myself." She stared at him for a long time. Then quietly she said, "I don't remember the last time someone did something kind without wanting something in return." "Well," he said, "I don't want anything, except for you to live. Maybe smile. One day." Her lips moved like she wanted to say something, but stopped. Suddenly, a sharp beep came from Marcus's scanner. He checked the screen. A faint signal, moving fast, headed their way. His face turned serious. "We have company." Ravaya stood up quickly, panic flashing in her eyes. "They found me." "How?" he asked. She touched the collar. "It sends out a signal every few hours. If it's not in range of the control beacon, they come looking." Marcus grabbed his gear. "Then we need to run." Ravaya hesitated. "What's wrong?" he asked. She looked terrified. "If we run, it will burn me." He stared at her, heart racing. Then slowly, he walked over and held out his hand. "Then I'll carry you." She looked at his hand, shaking. "I'll carry your fear too if I have to," Marcus said. Tears welled up in her eyes, but this time, not from pain. She took his hand, and for the first time she stepped into the night not as a slave, but as someone choosing to move forward. The brand on her neck. The cave they found was small, cold and half collapsed, but it was shelter. Marcus used old gear to block the entrance with rocks and dry brush. No light could escape. No signal could be traced. Inside, Ravaya sat close to the cave wall, her back pressed against the cold stone. She had stopped shaking, but her eyes still moved with every sound, like she was waiting for someone to drag her back into a cage. Marcus lit a small blue flame and made soup from a ration pack. He handed her a metal cup. She took it slowly, her fingers still trembling. They ate in silence, until Marcus finally asked the question that had been burning in his mind. That mark on your neck, under the collar. I saw it when I gave you water yesterday. Ravaya froze. She didn't look up. He continued. It looked human. Still no answer. I've seen that symbol before, he said. In a classified war file. Years ago. A circle with a sharp V in the middle. It was part of something called Project Vortex. At that, she raised her eyes, just barely. You're not supposed to know about that, she whispered. Marcus leaned forward. Then it's real. She nodded, slowly. Marcus swallowed hard. You were part of it? I am it, she said. Now her voice wasn't weak. It was tired but clear. My mother was a rebel queen, a strong leader, loved by her people. My father was human, a soldier. They believed that if a child could be born from both species, maybe peace could grow from blood instead of war. Marcus stared at her. You're a hybrid. She looked away. No, I'm a weapon. That's what they called me after the project failed. What happened? The war escalated. The Empire found out. They called my mother a traitor, executed her court, destroyed the labs. They said I was a threat to all pure blood races. So they locked me in a prison. No name, no number. Just the mistake. Marcus clenched his fists. How long were you there? Ravaya's voice dropped. Since I was 6. He couldn't speak. She continued, her tone flat. They ran tests. Injected me with poisons to see how my body reacted. Wired my nerves to machines. Trained me in pain. And when I didn't die, they said I was useful, Marcus whispered. Why didn't anyone stop them? Because no one knew, she said. And those who did were silenced. She touched the collar. The Empire didn't just want to hide me. They wanted to erase me. The flame between them flickered. The cave seemed colder than before. Marcus broke the silence. Then why keep you alive? To use me? To scare others? I was a trophy, a living warning. This is what happens when species mix. He stood up and began pacing. No one deserves that. No one. She didn't respond. He turned toward her. You said they put this on you when you were a child. That means you were never free. She shook her head. I don't even know what freedom feels like. Marcus sat beside her. Maybe it feels like this. Eating soup beside someone who doesn't want to hurt you. She gave the smallest smile. It disappeared quickly, but it had been real. Then Marcus asked the question he had been holding back. Ravaya, are they still hunting you just because of what you are? Or is there more? She didn't answer right away. Then in a low voice she said, There's more. Something inside me reacts to old rebel tech. Like I'm connected to it. I've never told anyone. But once a door opened when I touched it. A door no one else could unlock. Marcus's eyes widened. So you're not just proof of unity, you're a key. She looked at him. That's why they'll never stop hunting me. Marcus stood. Then we don't run anymore. She blinked. What do you mean? He loaded his rifle. We go to the place where it all started, the ruins of your mother's palace. If the Empire feared you waking something there, then maybe it's time to wake it. Ravaya stood slowly. You'd come with me? I carried you out of a cage, he said. I won't leave you now. For the first time, her hands stopped shaking. And though she didn't say it, her heart whispered something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. The Empire's hunters. The wind was silent as Marcus and Ravaya climbed the black hills of sand. They had traveled for hours deeper into the wasteland, far from any trade route or signal path. The stars above were sharp and cold. The desert below stretched endlessly, empty, except for what hunted them. Marcus stopped suddenly. His hand moved to Ravaya's shoulder. Down. She dropped beside him behind a crumbled metal ridge. The ground trembled faintly. Then they saw it, hovering in the sky like a shadow, an Empire hunter drone. Sleek, silent, deadly. It didn't search like a normal machine. It smelled fear. It read body heat. It listened for heartbeats. Ravaya's breath caught in her throat. It's one of them. Marcus looked through his scope. The drone was scanning the area in slow circles. You've seen these before? He asked quietly. They use them in the prison, she whispered. Not to guard us, but to find those who tried to escape. No one ever made it past them. Marcus cursed under his breath. How are they already this close? The collar, Ravaya said. Even when it's off signal, it stores fear patterns. When I panic, it remembers. Then it sends a delayed signal. Marcus stared at her. Wait, you mean your fear is broadcasting your location? She nodded. It's built to make me afraid, and when I'm afraid, it hunts. The drone hovered lower now. Red lights pulsed on its sides. It scanned a broken comms tower nearby. Ravaya shut her eyes tightly. I can't stop it, Marcus, my heart. It's racing. Then slow it down, he whispered. I'm trying. He took her hand. Look at me. Not the drone. Me. She opened her eyes. His face was calm, steady, like a mountain. His grip was strong, warm. Breathe with me, he said softly. In, out. She did. The lights on her collar dimmed slightly. The drone paused. Then, beep. A sharp shift. It had found something. Marcus jumped up. Run! They sprinted across the sand. The drone gave a high-pitched shriek and fired. A plasma shot exploded just behind them. Ravaya stumbled. Marcus turned and picked her up without a word. He carried her through the dust and smoke as another blast tore into the ground. Behind them, the drone dropped low, preparing a kill shot. Suddenly, from a rocky ridge above, boom! A rocket slammed into the drone. Sparks flew. It jerked sideways, alarms screeching. Marcus dropped behind cover, shielding Ravaya. He looked up. Two figures in desert gear stood on the cliff. One waved him forward. Who are they? Ravaya asked. Don't care right now, Marcus said. If they're shooting at the drone, they're friends. They followed the strangers into a hidden cave system under the rocks. As they stepped inside, thick metal doors slammed shut behind them. Safe. For now. The taller of the two strangers pulled off their helmet. A woman. Alien. Her skin was bronze, with markings across her face. You brought her, she said to Marcus, staring at Ravaya. You know her? Marcus asked. We've been searching for her, the woman said. For years, Ravaya's voice shook. Who are you? We're all that's left of your mother's resistance, the woman replied. And we've been waiting for the day you escaped and awakened. Ravaya stepped back. That's not me. I'm not a leader. The woman stepped closer. But you are the only one who can open what she left behind. Marcus watched Ravaya carefully. This was no longer just about survival. It was becoming something more. Later, in a secure chamber lit by old lights, Marcus sat beside Ravaya. Her hands were bandaged. Her face was bruised, but her eyes were focused. The drone will send back a trace, she said. More will come. I know, Marcus said. That's why we need to reach the palace ruins before they do. She looked down at her collar. Even if I get there, what if it's all just stories? What if I'm not what they think? Marcus leaned in. You're not a story, he said. You're real, you're alive. You feel pain. And still, you're fighting. She looked at him, eyes glistening. A cage didn't break me. But kindness. It's hard to survive. He gave a small smile. Then get stronger. And in that moment, Ravaya didn't feel like a mistake anymore. She felt like someone worth finding, someone worth becoming. Her secret identity. The underground hideout was silent except for the soft hum of old alien tech. Ravaya sat in a round metal room filled with flickering monitors and dusty holograms. Marcus stood near the door, arms crossed, watching as the resistance. Leaders argued. She can't be trusted, one of them said. She's too dangerous. She's the only one who can open the vault, the bronze-skinned woman snapped back. You saw the symbol light up when she touched it. That was her mother's seal. No one else can do that. Ravaya stayed quiet. Marcus looked at her. They don't matter, he said. Tell me what you believe. She didn't answer at first. Then, in a whisper, I never believed I was anything but a prisoner. He stepped closer. But you're more than that. I've seen it. She looked up at him. You want to know the truth? Marcus nodded. She took a slow breath and stood. I never knew my parents. Only pieces. Voices in my dreams. Faces in broken memories. But one day, a guard slipped. He said I had royal blood. That I wasn't just born. I was engineered. Marcus stiffened. Engineered? She nodded. The Empire wanted to crush the idea of peace between humans and aliens. So they created a symbol. My existence was supposed to prove that union leads to failure. They made you to prove a lie, Marcus said softly. No, she corrected. They tried to twist the truth into a lie. I'm living proof that human and alien DNA can live together. I was supposed to bring peace. She turned away. But after the project was exposed, they panicked. They called me a threat. They destroyed the labs, killed the others. Only I survived. Marcus asked carefully, why did they keep you alive? She closed her eyes. Because I was the only one who reacted to the vault. What's in the vault? She looked at him. A weapon. Or a message. My mother left it behind. Locked away in her ancient palace, sealed by blood. Everyone's afraid to open it, because they don't know if it will save the galaxy or burn it down. Marcus stepped forward. And only you can open it? Ravaya nodded. Only me. He looked into her eyes. Then maybe that's why you survived. She looked away again. I don't feel chosen. I feel cursed. You're not cursed, he said firmly. You're alive. You have a choice. They didn't break you. You're standing. That means something, she whispered. Then come with me. Marcus smiled. Always. That night, Ravaya stood in front of a sealed metal gate, hidden deep beneath the ruins of her mother's destroyed palace. The walls were covered in vines and thyme, but the symbol on the door was clear. The royal crest of the Lorinth Dominion, surrounded by a strange pattern glowing faintly blue. It looked like the one burned into her neck. Her fingers trembled as she reached forward. Wait, Marcus said, stepping beside her. Are you sure? No, she said honestly. But we've come this far. She placed her hand on the panel. Nothing happened. Then, the lights flared. The ground shook. The doors hissed and slid open. Inside was a circular chamber, lit by soft gold light. In the center, a floating crystal pulsed with energy. A hologram appeared. A tall alien woman with the same silver hair and glowing violet eyes as Ravaya. Mother, Ravaya whispered. The hologram spoke. If you see this, my child, it means you survived. It means the Empire failed to erase you. You are my last hope. Our people's last hope. The voice was calm, regal, full of love. Marcus stepped back, overwhelmed. The message continued. You were born to be more than a message. You were born to lead. The blood of two worlds flows in you. You are not a mistake. You are the bridge. Ravaya sank to her knees. Tears welled in her eyes, but this time They weren't from pain. They were from truth. Outside the chamber, the resistance leaders watched silently. The bronze-skinned woman whispered, "The legend, it's real." Marcus knelt beside Ravaya. "How do you feel?" She wiped her eyes. "Like I've been carrying 1,000 years of silence and then I finally heard my name." Marcus smiled. "Welcome back, Ravaya." She stood slowly. "No more running." He nodded. "Then let's start fighting." Escape through fire. The resistance base was no longer safe. Just hours after Ravaya unlocked the ancient vault and heard her mother's voice, the Empire arrived. Not in drones, not in scouts, but in full dreadships, giant black monsters in the sky, each the size of a city. They floated like silent gods, casting massive shadows across the wasteland ruins. Inside the base, alarms screamed. Rebels shouted orders. Some ran for weapons. Others prayed. Marcus grabbed his rifle. "They're not here to scare us. They're here to erase her." Ravaya stood at the center of the chaos, calm, focused. Her hands no longer shook. Her voice was steady. "They tracked the vault," she said. "They knew I would open it. They waited until I did." "Then we walk into their trap?" one rebel asked. "No," Ravaya said. "We fly out of it." The bronze-skinned rebel leader stepped forward. "We found something under the palace, deep under the vault. A ship. Big, old, but it still breathes." Ravaya's eyes lit up. "My mother's flagship," the woman nodded. "Hidden in case of emergency. Locked by royal blood. That means only you can fly it." Marcus looked at Ravaya. "You ever flown a ship before?" She cracked a tiny smile. "Only in dreams." Minutes later, they reached the hangar. It was buried under stone and metal, but the moment Ravaya stepped inside, the lights flickered to life. The ground rumbled. The ship, sleek, curved, black with glowing gold veins, awakened like a sleeping beast. Its hull responded to her presence. A long ramp descended slowly. Marcus whispered, "It's waiting for her." Rebels rushed aboard with supplies and weapons. Others stayed behind to buy them time. Ravaya entered the control chamber. Her hands hovered over the controls. Symbols floated in the air, alien language, yet she understood them. The ship spoke in a soft, familiar voice. "Welcome, Ravaya. Blood of Serena. The skies await." She sat down. The chair adjusted to her form. Then the ground shook hard. An explosion! "They're bombarding the base," Marcus shouted. "Shields!" Ravaya commanded. The ship hummed and a bubble of light surrounded them. Outside, dreadships opened fire. Massive beams struck the shield, but it held. "Engines coming online," the ship's voice said. "Launch in 20 seconds. Another blast." The hangar collapsed behind them. Ravaya gripped the controls. "Hold together just a little longer." Marcus stood behind her, watching the numbers rise on the screen. "They're charging main cannons. One hit could rip through us if the shields fail." Ravaya didn't blink. "Then we don't let them hit." 10 seconds to launch, the voice said. Outside, the Empire ship locked on. "Fire ready." "Marcus," she said, "hold on to something." "Wait, why?" Boom. The flagship blasted through the roof like a bullet. Fire exploded behind them as stone and metal flew in every direction. The ship soared into the air faster than anything Marcus had ever seen. The Empire ships turned, chasing. "They're in pursuit," a rebel yelled from the back. Ravaya's hands danced across the controls. "Activate phase engines." "We don't have a full charge," the ship's voice warned. "We don't have time." Marcus grabbed the railing. "They're locking weapons again." Ravaya closed her eyes. Her hands stopped trembling. She touched a glowing symbol that only appeared for her. The engines screamed. The sky tore open. In a flash of light, the flagship vanished, leaving the dreadships behind, confused and blind. Silence filled the cabin. The stars stretched all around them. Marcus finally breathed. "Where are we?" The ship answered. Unknown sector, off-grid, safe. Ravaya slumped in the seat, exhausted but alive. She looked back at him. We made it. He walked over and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. You did it. She smiled, a real one this time. And for a moment in the middle of the cold, dark galaxy, they shared warmth. Later, Ravaya walked alone to the observation deck. She looked out at the stars. Free. Alive. Finally. In control. Marcus joined her. You saved us all. She didn't turn. I didn't want to run forever. I wanted to rise. You just did. Ravaya took a deep breath. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of tomorrow. The girl with no tears left. The ship drifted silently through deep space. Ravaya stood at the edge of the observation deck, her silver hair softly glowing under the artificial light. Her reflection stared back from the glass, a girl no longer bound by chains but not yet used to the weight of freedom. Behind her, the stars shimmered like forgotten memories. Planets and moons blinked in the distance. She had escaped the cage. She had survived the hunt. But the hardest part still remained. Becoming something more than what they made her. The door behind her slid open with a soft hiss. Marcus stepped, in his footsteps quiet. You haven't slept, he said gently. I don't feel tired, she answered, eyes still on the stars. I feel heavy, but not tired. He walked beside her. That makes sense. You've carried a lot. Ravaya didn't respond. Her hands touched the cold glass. I've been thinking, she said softly. All my life I believed I was nothing, a tool, a failed test. I cried so much in that cage, I prayed someone would save me, but no one came. I did, Marcus said. She turned, a faint smile on her lips. Yes, you did, but by the time you found me, I had no tears left. He nodded. That's okay. You don't need tears to lead. She sighed. What if I fail? What if I'm not who they think I am? Marcus looked at her carefully. You're not. You're more. A day later, they reached the edge of a hidden sector. Floating above a shattered moon was a rebel outpost. Small, shielded, forgotten. But it was there. As Ravaya's ship approached, dozens of rebel signals lit up on her screen. Small ships flew in formation. Their messages were all the same. Is it true? The bloodline lives? The daughter of Serena has returned? She opened the comm channel. This is Ravaya. The Empire tried to destroy me. They failed. The entire outpost went silent for a moment. Then, cheers. Hundreds of them. Marcus turned to her. They're ready. She stood. Then let them hear what we've come to say. The broadcast across dozens of systems. The resistance hijacked old signals. Forgotten satellites blinked to life. Holoscreens glowed. Miners, farmers, smugglers, and former soldiers all stopped what they were doing as the feed began. On screen was a girl with silver hair, violet eyes, and a voice that shook with truth. I am Ravaya, she said. You don't know my name. You were never meant to. I was locked in a cage, a collar around my neck, a number burned into my skin. I was born from two worlds, human and alien, and for that I was called a mistake. They told me I had no purpose, that I was dangerous, that I shouldn't exist. She looked straight into the camera. They were right about one thing. I am dangerous, but not to the innocent, not to the weak, not to you. I am dangerous to those who fear truth, who fear peace, who build their empires on lies. They chained me, starved me, hurt me. They tried to make me forget who I was. But I remembered. She held up her hand. The mark, the old royal seal, glowed softly. I am the daughter of Queen Serena. I am the last of the old blood. And I'm not running anymore. I'm not asking you to rise. I'm telling you, it's time. The feed ended. Across the galaxy, the resistance stirred. 1 week later, The ship flew through war-torn space now, but it no longer hid. Ravia's face had become a symbol. On walls, on badges, on stolen Empire ships now painted with rebel colors. She walked through the ship's hallway and stopped outside Marcus's room. He opened the door with a grin. "Was that your voice I heard over the whole ship again?" She smirked. "They made me say a few words, just 5 or 50. He laughed. "You're good at this, you know." "I'm not trying to be," she replied. "I'm just telling the truth. That's what makes you dangerous to them." She paused. "There's something I want to show you." She led him to the control chamber. There, in the center of the room, floated the core crystal from the vault, now glowing brighter than ever. "What is it?" he asked. "It holds more than just my mother's message," Ravia explained. "It holds records, truths, names of every prisoner like me, every failed hybrid, every erased soul." Marcus looked stunned. "You have proof," she nodded, "enough to break the Empire's lies open." "Then let's do it," he said. But Ravia didn't smile. Her face grew serious. "There's more. The Empire knows this crystal exists. They will come for it, and they won't stop." Marcus stepped closer. "Then we protect it. We build an army. We stand together." She whispered, "What if they kill me?" "Then your voice lives on in every system we've reached. Your words have already lit a fire they can't put out." She looked at him. This time, no fear, no doubt, just fire in her heart. The final attack. The Empire came with everything. Warships, elite hunters, mind-controlled soldiers. They blocked every route, burned entire rebel planets. But Ravia's fleet was ready. Her flagship soared through the sky like a blade of light. She stood on the bridge in her mother's armor, glowing with golden threads and rebel marks. "This is it," Marcus said beside her. She nodded. No cages, no more collars, no more silence. They charged into the battle. Explosions rocked the stars, ships spun, dived, fired. The Empire's command ship locked onto Ravia's vessel. One final shot, one final decision. Ravia stared at the burning sky ahead and smiled. "I am not afraid." She activated the core. A wave of light burst from her ship. Pure, clean, powerful. It tore through the command ship's control system, spreading the truth into every device, every screen, every ship. The truth couldn't be stopped. Aftermath. The battle ended. Not with a final explosion, but with silence. The Empire's forces surrendered, not because they were beaten, but because they finally saw what they were fighting for and what they were fighting against. Epilogue. Ravia walked through a peaceful village on a newly freed world. Children ran past her laughing. Old rebels waved. Soldiers nodded with respect. She wore no armor, no crown, just her name. Marcus stood beside her, as always. "They still look at you like you're a goddess," he teased. "I'm not," she said. "Just a girl with no tears left, but a heart full of fire." She smiled. "That's enough."